Hey guys, so this pretty much happened as soon as I was leaving, and of course the nerd side of me says like, "Oh yeah, I want to stay and watch it." The other part, the adult said, no, we have to go to work." So what this is, the World of Warcraft devs give first look at Guardians of the Emerald or Guardians of the Dream PTR. So are we going to be seeing the Emerald Dream? I don't know. I just got home. So let's let's see what these guys and gals have to say.
Hello everyone, welcome to Wowcast. Today we're going to talk about our next major content update, Guardians of the Dream. And I have two special guests here with me today. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Taylor Sanders. I'm an encounter designer on the World of Warcraft team.
And I'm Ann Stickney. I'm a senior narrative designer on the World of Warcraft team.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. What is coming with Guardians of the Dream?
Yeah, so Guardians of the Dream is a huge content update. We have a new outdoor zone, the Emerald Dream itself, right, that we're going to be traveling to. We have a new raid. We have new public events within the outdoor zone itself. And then also Season 3 will be launching as well.
So we just finished up Fractures in Time. Can you tell us what's next? What are we going to expect in this major content update?
Well, with Fractures in Time, we kind of wrapped up the story of the Bronze Dragonflight, and we also saw Iridikron take off for parts unknown. One person that we haven't seen since Zeralek Caverns is Farok. We get to catch up with him here. More importantly, what's going on is that Amirdrasil, that tree, the seed that Tyrande took from the Shadowlands, she's planted it, it's been growing in the Emerald Dream, and it's about to cross over. It's a very powerful tree. We're not the only ones interested in it.
Of course not.
So,
Can't be that easy.
Of course not. No, it can't be that. It's never that easy. So turns out Farok's kind of interested in this tree, and he's got some friends that he's bringing along with him.
We finally enter the portal into the Emerald Dream. What does it look like? What can we expect?
First off, we're finally going to the Emerald Dream, right? And we've seen like bits and pieces of it since like what?
Yeah, since, I don't know, back in, the classic days when the game was first kind of released.
Druids. Yeah, with the Druids. And then I think more recently, the Emerald Nightmare raid back in Legion, right? But we've always visited these little pockets. And in Guardians of the Dream, we get to visit like an actual section of the dream. The Emerald Dream itself is a reflection of the wild world. So it's green, it's overgrown, it's beautiful, there's stuff blooming all over the place, but also we aren't the only ones interested in that tree. Farok is there, and he's got some allies with him. So the place is, while part of it is, overgrown, wild, beautiful, blooming, there's also parts of it where Farok's forces have hit this place. It's a war-torn landscape, right?
Okay, so the Emerald Dream, it's disappointing. It's like going to be like a small section. I was expecting kind of something like, I don't know, size of Northrend or something, just a very large, expansive, kind of like with Argus, how it was zones, but they felt very large, or something like that. But if they show us some of the things that we have seen in like the classic Emerald Dream from like the beta, alpha, beta, all the stuff that was really never seen, be like, hey guys, yeah, remember that dream? Yeah, those giant flowers? Yeah, we've got those here. Because that's the Emerald Dream we wanted. Very something emeraldy and green, verdant. I mean, it looks good. It just kind of reminds me of stuff we've seen already. It doesn't really say Emerald Dream. So, like here's Val'sharah. It's basically what we're seeing right now with the Emerald Dream. So I would have liked it to be a little more Emerald Dreamy. It just feels like another world, outside zone. And it shouldn't be. It's supposed to be this very odd place. And the fact that the Farok is trying to get to the tree there, it's almost like it's a life of it's almost like Azeroth, where this seed is now imbued with a power that shouldn't be imbued into a world tree or something. And that's what Farok is after, this life essence, essentially. But
It's not perfect, it's not ideal, but we're there to fix it and make sure that Farok doesn't get what he wants. If you are familiar with lore, we're going to the Eye of Ysera, and it's a place that has been mentioned in lore for a very long time. We've never been there. It's the center of the Emerald Dream. Not literally, figuratively. So the Eye of Ysera focuses on the areas of the dream that are they need the most attention from the green dragonflight. And in Guardians of the Dream, it's a Mirdrasil. Obviously, you know, we want to help bring this tree from the Emerald Dream into Azeroth.
The outdoor area that we have, you know, releasing with our content update is just absolutely gorgeous. The art team has really outdone themselves yet again, and seeing the Emerald Dream in all of its glory, right, as players get to explore finally like an actual zone that represents sort of all of the incredible like sort of artistic influence of the Emerald Dream, and we're going to see tons of great characters that we kind of know and love that are related to the Emerald Dream itself.
So in this new zone, there's a new raid.
okay, so I think they just showed Cenarius, but they're going through, and while yes, don't get me wrong, it's still absolutely stunning and gorgeous. Apart from the skybox, you'd think we were looking at Val-Shara. Again, it's gorgeous, and the art team always knocks it out of the park. But if you don't see the skybox right here with the swirly kind of like green thing going on, it looks like Val-Shara. Now, the Emerald Dream is basically just, you know, if humans or really just intelligent life never took over. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of normal looking trees, but I want that over the top stuff. I want, you know, because humans aren't there to cut it down, or nothing's really there to cut or burn it down. I want to see trees that are massive. You know, that's what I want. If this Emerald Dream is like a blueprint almost, then I want to see what would happen if these trees and everything were allowed to grow, you know? But when you look at it, it just looks like Val-Shara. Kind of mixed in with a little bit of Ardenweald. It looked like around the tree there, a little bit of Ardenweald mixed in, which we know Ardenweald and the Dream are kind of connected. So, but yeah, it looks like we've got Cenarius there, and
our new raid, Amir Drasil, the Dream's Hope. This is a 9-boss raid where players get to explore one of the most interesting places within the Emerald Dream. The story here starts at Wellspring Temple, which is sort of a place within the Emerald Dream that's feeding Amir Drasil, this world tree, all of its kind of energy and life force. It's nurturing the tree. It's a very important place to Farok and his designs on the Emerald Dream and what he wants to sort of achieve here. One wing of the temple is untouched by Farok and his allies for now and represents sort of the wild nature of the Emerald Dream. There are defenders of the temple here who are natural to the dream, and one of those defenders is our wing boss for that section, Nimue, Weaver of the Cycle. So when players enter Nimue's chamber, it's this beautiful sanctum that really represents sort of the Emerald Dream in its most pure form. On the floor of the chamber, Nimue is ordering the weave of the Emerald Dream itself, sort of represent the act of creating things with the Emerald Dream and defending it and protecting it. In the other wing of our raid, this is a wing that's been destroyed by Farok and his molten allies, right? Smolderon sits at the end of this wing, the Fire Lord himself, and fire has sort of poured through this portal where Farok has brought the Firelands sort of screaming, you know, into the temple itself. So we're going to see all the destruction that has wrought and be able to fight Smolderon right at the end of that wing. Another encounter we have within the raid is Tendril Sage Swift, who is one of the leaders of the Druid of the Flame.
Yeah, Druids of the Flame, basically the last time we saw them was in Cataclysm when we defeated Fandral Staghelm. But they've been planning this kind of resurgence, and with the...
Okay, so sorry, I gotta cut her off. But the fact is they're kind of letting some of that fire, because Firelands and Cataclysm was huge. It was an amazing place. I mean, Ragnaros is the final boss. You had Fandral Staghelm, which he's the reason for so many world trees. He's just going like, I'm just gonna play one here. You get a world tree. You get a world tree. Everyone gets a world tree, and everyone's like, does he know? Maybe you shouldn't plant so many there. Maybe you shouldn't plant so many world trees. It's like, oh, what could possibly go wrong? Well, we see what happens. But he gets corrupted. But we see him, and yeah, we take him on in Firelands. And just the fact that we're gonna kind of see, you know, part of the Firelands, or at least a portal that's leading from the, it'd be great if we could actually, part of the fight is actually going through that portal, and seeing like a chunk of the Firelands. That would be amazing. Little, you know, foresty, and then you're going to this place of like pure fire, and that would be so cool. That like half of the group has to stay, you know, in you know, do the fight, and then part of the, you know, the other half has to go to the Firelands part, you know, to stop the reinforcements from coming, like the ads from coming in. That'd be really, really cool. But yeah, that's just the idea of the Firelands. That's, and if I remember, Ragnaros is gone, so there has to be a new Fire Lord. So there must always be a Fire Lord.
Burning of Teldrassil, they've been able to recruit a lot more willing people to go along with their plans.
The exciting thing about this encounter is that finally we'll get to dragon ride within a raid encounter in Dragonflight. So this is incredibly a cool opportunity to be able to jump on Dragonback with, you know, all of your friends that you're raiding with, and pursue Tendril as he sort of like flies around Yggdrasil, right? You're like banking through fireballs and stuff during combat, so it's gonna be really exciting to see.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, visually it sounds really cool to have 25 people all mount up, but mechanically,
yeah,
we need people to test it out. We just need people to test it out.
Yeah, the PTR is so helpful for that.
Yeah. And then of course, I mean, we can't forget Farok, right?
Finally.
Yeah, the reason.
Spicy, nasty boy.
I'm ready to beat him up.
He's here in the Emerald Dream, and the raid will end with a showdown against, you know, the Fire Incarnate himself.
Is there any like juicy rewards in the raid?
Yeah, so much as in other raids during Dragonflight, players can expect some new armor sets that they can earn, right? That are sort of class themed, but also have a touch of the Emerald Dream to them, right?
They're beautiful.
The art is absolutely incredible for these new sets within the raid. So they can expect new sets to earn that'll each have, you know, class bonuses on them.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to get my hands on them for my characters.
I love collecting the sets too.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting our hands on some.
Well, hang on, let's take a look at some of those. Also, Farok, I love his dragon form. I mean, hopefully it's like a 2-stage kind of thing where we kind of fight him in both his dragon and his humanoid form. That'd be really fun. But yeah, some of these sets. You're a wizard, Harry. Okay. I do like this one, like the very crownish. Ooh, is that for paladins? You got the sword right there. It almost looks like it's a judgment type set. Almost like a reimagined. But that'd be cool to see a judgment. It looks very like chess. Like this is a chess piece. But the hat, the whole like wizardy fire mage kind of look. Also, I like simplicity. I don't like when the helmets and the pauldrons are just like huge. You know, you look at some of the other expansions where they're like half the size of the character themselves, and they just get in the way, and they just take away from the beauty of the design. You know, And I think now you can only you can actually choose to only have like one showing or something like that, and you can actually transmog 2 different shoulders, which is really, really cool. Um, that's something you would expect to see in the Emerald Dream. You know, corrupt looking, uh, tinged with some kind of flame. Got the dragon that's very cool looking. Hey, it's Cramorant. No, that one's very interesting. I'm guessing this is the monk. Just the way it looks with the rope belt and but I think we saw one last one, but
Excited to get my hands on them for my characters.
I love collecting the sets too.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting our hands on something,
Yes.
Farok's got something really tasty for us to get our hands on.
We have a new legendary weapon coming in
Okay.
Guardians of the Dream. This is going to be a 2-handed axe that players can earn. They'll have to keep their ear to the ground exactly on how to get their hands on it. But yeah, it's a really powerful weapon wielded by Farok himself. It's called Fearlath the Dream Render. We've been listening to feedback from the Embers of Neltharion update, and you know, we hope we can provide something that, you know, players really feel like they can earn the axe over time and feel really rewarded for their time in the raid.
So we've spoke about the amazing raid and the beautiful zone of the Emerald Dream. What other things can we expect in Guardians of the Dream?
So we've got something really unique coming to Guardians of the Dream. It's not just one public event, it's 3 of them. And they feed into each other in this kind of cyclical sort of wilderness nature kind of thing. There's 3 different events. First one is the Super Bloom, and that one is, if you've ever played Overwatch, it's like protecting the payload, right? Okay, so you've got this ancient who's going through and he's trying to, you know, bloom the dream, and you have to help him out by defending him from things and helping him get things, that kind of stuff. When that's done, it triggers the second public event called the Emerald Frenzy, and it's a farming kind of public event where wilderness has kind of gotten out of control. So you go through, you're farming everything, and it's dropping currency, it's dropping seeds left and right. The more people that are in it, the more stuff you get, and it's just a grab. So that feeds into the Emerald Bounty. And with the Emerald Bounty, it's a fostering event, right? So all around the Emerald Dream, there's piles of dirt. You can take those seeds that you gathered and plant them in the dirt. Over the course of 5 minutes, it'll grow into a sprout. And the more people that show up and feed that sprout and nurture that sprout, the bigger it'll get. When it blooms after that 5 minutes, you get to loot it for cool stuff.
I love cool stuff. Can you tell us more about the new Renown faction in this
Yes,
patch?
Of course. We've got the Dream Wardens. I mean, we're going into the Emerald Dream, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the Emerald Dream is full of creatures that live there. And they also have a vested interest in protecting Amirdrasil, so they've decided to go ahead and team up with us. But it's composed of those creatures from the Emerald Dream. So you've got Keepers, you've got Dryads, you've got Druids, obviously, you've got the Green Dragonflight, you've got Rune Bears. They're new. They're very cool.
Yeah.
And they've all come together to just kind of like help us out. And obviously, as with any renown that we've got, there are some really cool rewards involved as you increase your reputation with these guys. I need to level my druid alt for this because it's druid heaven.
Yes, Druid Heaven.
Anne and I both played druids, you know, way back in 2004. So I think we're particularly excited to get to interact with this faction. I think we've never seen before in WoW these like types of characters that are really reminiscent of like Warcraft 3 and like
Yeah.
Night Elf and Druid lore. So it's going to be very exciting to interact with a lot of those creatures and characters that I associate with like my first character ever.
So as we're dragon riding through this new zone, is there new dragon riding anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So players will be able to dragon ride through the Emerald Dream from day 1, which is really a treat with all the incredible art that is within the zone just in itself.
You want to walk that zone.
Yeah, exactly.
good. Normally, when they introduce a new zone, it's like, oh, sorry guys, we'll release flying in here, or not. But the Emerald Dream is one of those zones that you want to take in everything. You want to be up in the sky. You want to be taking in all the emeraldy goodness. So the fact is, hopefully it is as soon as you get in there. You can mount up if you want. after listening to them, the NPCs talk for like 10 minutes. But as soon as they're done talking, can mount up, and obviously I'm sure there'll be things like we saw some like land masses kind of floating there. Might be some places to start searching. You know, if you see something floating in the sky, chances are it's floating there for a reason. They want you to go up there. So if you get to the Emerald Dream and you see land masses floating in the sky, you should probably go there. There's probably something there to collect. That little emerald goat thing that they showed, absolutely adorable. Just the way it was like bucking around, it's just, oh my god, that thing was cute. But yeah, I'm glad that, because it's too many times we've seen, you know, especially like with Argus, we go back to Argus, a lot of it was vertically challenged, and you didn't get to fly, you had to run. So if you had to get to the other side, it's like, okay, well, there's a big old mountain in the way, it's like, you gotta go around it. But here, it's like, nope, we designed it specifically for flying. We want you to see the Emerald Dream. Hopefully it'll kind of be like the water hall or stuff like that, where even if it's like not out of bounds, but even further past the place that you're actually allowed to go, you'll still see part of it and can be like, hey, it's the Emerald Dream, guys. But yeah, flying day one in the Emerald Dream, good call, because too often we get sent to a new world or a new area. Oh, sorry, you can't fly here. We'll release it eventually, or we won't. Yep, it's whatever we want.
I want to swoop under branches and, like, you know, along the rivers and through that environment. They're also going to be able to collect new glyphs that are hidden around the zone and some new transmog appearances. There's a new dragon riding appearance and a new dragon riding mounts. So there's a lot there for players who are interested in dragon riding and have enjoyed that during Dragonflight.
I'm all about collecting customization, especially for my dragons, so I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, there's a lot there for players who enjoy that. There's also a new active ability that players will be able to earn, you know, with their glyphs called Second Wind, that allows them to sort of like regain vigor instantly. So they can gain a little bit more speed. There's new dragon riding races where they can try to, you know, try their skills at that with some of these new abilities that they'll earn. And yeah, we're just excited to see how players enjoy zooming through the skies in the Emerald Dream itself.
That sounds handy for that dragon riding encounter too.
Yes.
So you may want to collect your glyphs right away.
Practice, just practice.
Yeah, get some practice in.
And there's gonna be a new season. Can you tell us more about what the season will be?
Yeah, absolutely. So Season 3 will start with Guardians of the Dream, and with it becomes a new Mythic Plus map pool. So we have 8 new dungeons that are arriving for players to enjoy in Mythic Plus. Among these are some dungeons that are appearing for the first time in Mythic Plus that we're really excited about. We had our mega dungeon, you know, that players have really been enjoying from the Dawn of the Infinite update, and we're splitting that into 2 separate dungeons for players to enjoy in Mythic Plus. We also have 2 dungeons included in the map pool that really fit the theme of the wild nature of the Emerald Dream. The first is the Everbloom, which we last saw sort of in a challenge mode format, and the second is Darkheart Thicket, which we last enjoyed during Legion. Which has a really druidic theme, right?
Yeah.
As we sort of like venture into the beginnings of the Emerald Nightmare and that story back at that time. So,
Yeah, the Everbloom was pretty cool. That is pretty much what one would expect the Emerald Dream to look like. Very overgrown, running wild. All these very primitive, primal beings there. And then Darkheart Thicket, it was kind of like the little precursor to the Emerald Nightmare. We go there, fight the Shade of Xavius, who's, you know, got Malfurion, Hogtied, and all that. And yeah, then after we kind of go into the Emerald Nightmare and face him in the Rift of Elm, which that's a huge part of the lore, you know, and Malfurion, when he was kind of looking into it, he said he sensed something very dark, you know, very ancient there. And I don't think it's actually ever been explained what it is. So that mysterious Rift of Elm is actually still kind of mysterious. And then after the raid, we get the void touched remnant or whatever it was in the tree, which pretty concerning. Which means a piece of the void made it into the Emerald Dream. And Farak kind of serve is. I mean, I don't know if at this point Farak's intention is still what Eridicron's is with the void and all that. But considering Shadow Flame and stuff like that, the void has kind of come to the Emerald Dream. So, there's that. But yeah, having those two, they were both really cool. I liked the Everbloom. A little annoying with some bosses, but overall the actual style of it. Darkheart Thicket, same thing. The bosses were pretty easy, even though it was dark and dank and pretty much everything was like purple or red. It was still really cool looking. Kind of lets you get into a glimpse of what's going on in the Emerald Dream, this Emerald Nightmare that's going on. But
we're excited to get players in there and see if the routes have changed since the last time they were in those dungeons. For each new season, we like to have a mix of dungeons that are more linear, but also mix that up with dungeons that are more open, like Atal Dazar, and Wakecrest Manor in a way, to try to keep some variety in there, and players who enjoy routing can have some options, to really sink their teeth into.
There's going to be, of course, Mythic Plus new rewards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything else for the new season?
There'll be a new season of PvP rewards. New cosmetic rewards for players to achieve in battlegrounds and arenas.
So work on your gladiator when it comes out. Get that fancy new mount.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So everyone wants to know, when is the PTR going to happen?
Yeah. So the PTR will be coming this week. We'll be on the PTR. Ann and I will be running around, and we would like to see players in there with us enjoying the new content that we have.
Thank you both so much for hanging out and talking about Guardians of the Dream with me. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
okay, so this week, as of right now, it's Thursday, September 7th, 2023. So he said this week. It could be next week. But fairly soon. Season 3, The Emerald Dream. Mirdrasil, The Dream's Hope. The new legendary, which is cool. We haven't, I think the players really miss legendaries. You'll have it's a cloak, or then you have, the legendaries in Legion dropping like candy. It was now there's a catch-up mechanic. Now you can just buy them. It just takes away the fun of legendaries. But having to go around and collect things feels very much like, with Sulfurin's Hammer, or Shadowmourne, or for the Rogues, or for, the Terragosa, the staff. And it sends you on a quest to collect things, and it might take a month or so to get it all done. But then when you get to the end of it, it's very rewarding. And it kind of looks like the axe itself is like a flaming gorehowl, really. It's really, really cool looking, though. But I'm glad we're actually getting, classic legendaries, where you have to go on a quest, and you're not going to get it right away. You're not going to kill the boss, and it's going to drop. Which, those were great, too, You fight and kill Jaden, you get that legendary bow, and you're like, oh my god! Or the blade, the Blades of Azzinoth. Same thing. But those quests where it might take a month or so, those are definitely fun. They're definitely worth it in the end. And it's good to see that we're going to be doing that again. But, Emerald Dream is where we're going. Emerald Dream, it's what's for dinner. But, he looks really, really cool. But, yeah. I'm pretty excited. I've always wanted I've wanted an Emerald Dream zone. Just again, I'll have to get past the fact that it's not going to be like I wanted and envisioned. I imagine it like the Everbloom, like very wild and overgrown, and like humans not interfering and things being allowed to grow. You know, I want a tree that's the same freaking size as, you know, the sword in Silithus. That's what I want. But it's still going to look gorgeous either way. So, anyway, are you looking forward to the Emerald Dream? Are you not? Let me know below. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.